Okay, so the last time I did a blog, it was over the Breeders' Cup nominations. So, fittingly, today, the next time I do a blog, I'm going to go over the Japan Cup nominations. Entries should be out sooner or later, and when they come out, I will do a formal written analysis of those entries like I did for the Breeders' Cup. But for now, let's talk about who's nominated for this race. And I've selected like 9 of the favorites on Bet365. Those are the odds I'm using. And the favorite here, according to that site, is Gold Ship. He beat Gentilzana 2-back, and he is, he's finished ahead of Gentilzana, so obviously he's a horse to beat since Gentilzana hasn't won a race this year yet. He also finished 5th behind Tozen Ra, who finished 3rd last time out, and we all know Tozen Ra came back to win the mile championship, cutting back in distance, so that flatters Gold Ship quite a bit. And then, obviously, second choice in the betting is Gentilzana, that marvelous filly who captured Horse of the Year last year, a slew of different events, including the Japan Cup or Fave. Excuse me. She is winless this year, though, but she hasn't done that quite so bad. She hasn't flopped. She finished 2nd at St. Nicholas Abbey in Dubai, and then a 3rd and a 2nd. I don't know. She's done very well this year. She just hasn't won, and that's uncharacteristic for her since she dominated so much last year. But she's back in Japan. She's back in Tokyo, where she won the Japan Cup last year. Let's see if she can regain her old form and win this race. I would not be surprised at all. And neither would the betting public, according to her 5-1 odds. 3rd choice in the betting, and we'll just stop a minute to talk about the foreign horses in this race. The most favored on Bet365 is Simonin. He finished 4th in the Melbourne Cup last time out, behind Fiorente, Red Cadeau, Mount Athos. Before that, he was on the board in 3 starts, a couple of Grade 2s, and the Grade 1 Ascot Gold Cup at 4,000 meters. He's in this race at, I believe, 2,400 meters. That is the race distance. He did finish 3rd in a 2,400 meter race behind Seamoon, but I think he might want a little longer distance. I think he might be a little more of a stayer than a 1.5 miles, but we will see. And he is joined by fellow European Dunedin, who finished a pretty blah 11th in the Melbourne Cup. Before that, he was pretty blah 8th in the Qatar Prix Foy, won by Orfèvre in his prep for the Arc de Triomphe. And then you see a string of on-the-board performances, including a 2nd behind St. Nicholas Abbey in the Coronation Cup, and a 2nd behind Novelist in the Grand Prix St. Cloud, and a 3rd behind Pastorius in the Prix Gannet. He's not a bad horse. He's very consistent. I mean, look at his record. He's won 10 times at 42 starts. How many horses these days make 42 starts? Simonin's had 33. It's just a testimony to these older horses that just keep going. And he's an ungelded male, so he'll go to stud when his racing career is over. He's 7 years old and he's still racing. I don't know. In this day and age where we retire 2- and 3-year-olds with poor credentials to stud, it's very refreshing to see that happen. It's not very often. And then finally we have Joshua Tree, who's coming out of his 3rd win in the Canadian International. He finished 3rd in the Arc de Triomphe behind Trèves, and 2nd in a race at Deauville before that. He was 3rd in that race where St. Nicholas Abbey won and Dunedin was 2nd, the Coronation Cup. He won the Canadian National over a yielding course, and this will most likely be firm. So we'll see how well he does back on a firm track, but he did finish 3rd in that Coronation Cup on a firm track. Granted, that is the European definition of firm, which may be quite different from the Japanese version of firm. Their tracks tend to be quite fast. And then, so we have Simonin at 8-1 in the betting, Dunedin at 14-1, and Joshua Tree at 16-1. At 12-1 is Asian Flash, who bets at 365 made the Japanese third choice. Third in the Tenno Show Autumn last time out behind Just Away and Gentle Donna. He won a grade 2 over Just Away the race before that, before Just Away went on to win a grade 1. He has just been very consistent, finishing on the board in 16 of his 26 starts. So, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to see him win, and it certainly wouldn't be surprising to see him get a piece of it. And after that is Admirakti at 20-1. Admirakti won 5 back, a grade 3 diamond stakes at 3,400 meters. He seems a little bit overmatched since his best grade 1 performance recently was in the Tenno Show in spring. He finished 4th, but he has also finished behind Tosin Ra, who, like I said, came back and flattered these horses by cutting back and winning the mile championship. So, I don't know. Like I said, it looks to me like he seems a little bit overmatched here, but in these big races with big fields, you just don't know. And then 25-1 is Denim and Ruby. She's a 3-year-old filly. She's pretty good, finished on the board 6 out of 8 starts. She's trying to become the next Gentle Donna, but to be honest, Gentle Donna was a very dominant figure in her crop, and Denim and Ruby she didn't win the Japanese Oaks. That went to Meisho Mambo. She didn't win the Shuka Show. That also went to Meisho Mambo, and she did not win the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, finishing 5th behind Meisho Mambo. So, I don't think she's quite as dominant as Gentle Donna was last year. So, it's great that she's giving it a go, and I mean, terrific. It's wonderful to see 3-year-old fillies throw it all on the line and go against these older males, but she's trying to become the next Gentle Donna. I don't think that's going to work out for her, and if it does, it'll be at quite a price. And then finally, the last horse I have to talk about, like I said, at 30-1. After this, there's about 5 or 6 at 33-1, and the rest are sky high. Is Wind Variation. Now, Wind Variation is a pretty good horse, and he's ran with the best, but upon looking at his form, you see that he's coming off almost a 1.5-year layoff. I don't know how I would perform being thrown into a very competitive field after a 1.5 years of being off. His last race was in 2012. He finished 4th behind Orfèvre. He did finish 5th in this race in 2011 behind Buena Vista. It's just been a while for him, and I don't know whether he'll have that punch right away to compete. I mean, he's shown that he can compete with the best, but will he have that punch after a 1.5 years off? Who knows? So, anyway, that is the 9 with the best odds according to Bet365. There's a slew of other Japanese horses at higher odds, but those are the 9 you really have to watch out for. I just I just wrote a blog post about how Sunday Silence has influenced Japan so much. Well, I'm looking at these sires and these dam sires of these Japanese horses. Like the sires, Heart's Cry is by Sunday Silence. Deep Impact by Sunday Silence. Deep Impact. Stay Gold. Xena Rob Roy. And just the list goes on and on. Agnes Tachyon. It's just amazing how they turned what we didn't want as a sire into something that completely revolutionized their breeding industry. I don't know. It's just very, very intriguing to me to see something like that. I'm glad Sunday Silence got his chance and became a very top sire in Japan. But anyway, I digress. That's all I have to say about that. I might come back later with a Japan Cup Dirt sort of thing going on. Maybe next week. or the beginning of next week. So thank you for watching me ramble, as usual, and I will have a written analysis of this race when the entries come out. Thank you. Goodbye.